Hi, crossmack. Okay, I've basically been driven to um, record, like a response because, like, the comments don't work, YouTube. When you try and type the comments, you click and it says, yes, your comment is being heard, and then it doesn't show up. Also, this is quite complex, and there's like a word limit as well. And so I think it's appropriate, very interesting subject to, do video response. Uh, I had this experience about 3 or 4 years ago. It was really profound. I'd taken some magic mushrooms and I decided I wanted to explore the dark side, like quite a dark type thing. Um, At the time, I was really into Stanislav Grof, who's, I don't know if you've heard of him, it's like deep um, psychology, it's consciousness research type of thing, yeah. And so when he did LSD, psychotherapy, and it was allowed and that, he recommended people keep their eyes shut throughout the trip. And so that's what I was doing at the time. I was just like experimenting. And I was allowing myself to think like all these deep things about serial killers and stuff like that. And I've thought all these terrible things. And one of these things that really affected me as a kid was there was these two serial killers, and it was really unusual. It was a man and a woman, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. They'll call them Mars killers, and they would, get children off the street. And it was about my age group, it could have been me, type of thing, yeah. And they would sexually torture them and murder them, and then bury them on the moors, hence the Mars killers. And this is a really deeply affected me all my life. It's so awful what happened to these kids, and the fact that I was that age and everything. And I also knew some people, relatives of one of the girls, Leslie Ann Downey, lived on our road and everything like that, and just upset me so much. And I was thinking about it, going through all these experiences. Anyway, really strangely, because when you trip, you can have like synchronistic experiences. And later on, when I was like, call it coming down, I was like just flicking through the channels, and it was so unusual. I came to this program. There was a woman, and how they cut it. You video people, how they cut it when people are talking, and they cut it so it's like quit at the camera. She's like a fast talking American woman anyway, so it was like she was coming at you, the camera. And she's talking the weirdest shit you can imagine. She's talking about she was actually married, and this was real. She was married to a serial killer, but she didn't know. And she said that a lot of people will look at life like this, right? Like this. And she says to look through the hands, and then to take them away and start looking directly at life. Because like from her experience of this guy she was married to, coming home all smiles, and things like that, and he'd done these terrible things, it really woke her up to this fact that you just can't, you don't know what reality is, you might be living a real, like, deluded reality. And so she was exploring all this. But the amazing thing was, this was really fitted in with the whole of my experience, And I was watching this fascinated, and it just got more and more weirder. Eventually he gets, busted and goes inside. And then she falls in love with a serial killer inside, another serial killer. and you actually see a ceremony when she gets married to him inside, where there's this guy singing. It's so darkly surreal, it's unbelievable. But he drew her these pictures of what it was like when he got the urge to kill. And he said, I mean, I wrote all this down in a journal. I mean, I don't know the exact words, it's somewhere. But he said it was like, he called this demon whatever a name, and he said it was like he became a puppet. He had no control. He felt like possessed by this evil, and he'd drawn these pictures for her to try and describe, you know, what it was like. And there was one picture with a guy with, it was like a drawing of a face, and one eye had like a skull, you know, sort of like that, sort of like protruding a bit. And this also fitted in with one of the visions I had of Myra Hindley, because one of the pictures, the infamous picture of her, when she's just been caught, one of her eyes looks distended. It's almost like it's coming out of the camera, you know, like freaky, like a real evil eye, you know. And this fitted in with what this guy had drawn, and it was kind of like a love of evil. This eye is like really wanting to see suffering. Really, it's like it's beyond our ken, right? Because most of us don't have these experiences, you know. But when there was a play about Moors killers a while back, and in the play they're talking about, Ian Brady calls what he did the supreme pleasure. Yeah. Basically what he's meaning is that when he went over this line that a lot of us won't cross, it's just too awful. But for him, he's calling that the supreme pleasure. But really, it's the supreme selfishness, right? Because you're taking this little child life for your fucking pleasure. You're getting off. He would get off on that. Take pictures of it and wank over it. So it's, you know, really heavy shit. How more selfish can that be, right? Should we forgive them? You say. No. Understand it? Yeah. Okay. But I can't look Leslie Ann Down's mum. She's died now. And she really suffered, obviously, because of it. I couldn't look her in the eye and say, yeah, I've forgiven them, or something like that. I'll look at the other kids' parents. I've got no right to say that. Yeah. They're evil, these people. You've got to know there is evil. There is evil. It's not some little, you know, we're not going into this relativist trip. I hate this relativist crap. You know, if somebody came into you and slashed you up or raped your mother in front of you, you're not going to want to forgive them. You know, you have to understand it. Yeah. So you're going to try, and once you start looking directly at it, maybe things will change. But you can't forgive that act. You can't forgive that evil act. Alright? That's what I feel.